Welcome, once again, to Clinical Theurgy, episode 51. And while I fix the cameras, why don't you guys tell me about how you're not dealing with any sort of real problems whatsoever, right?
Everything's gravy, baby. We are, so last time we arrested Toxini, and while we were trying to figure out how to get them out, Antaeus went and was fiddling with the machine and found it was filled with souls. He was able to look up Elizabeth and find her soul that was currently resting. Let's see. Oh, and we found out that she had to deal with some very strong monsters on her way to Levi. So including brine hags, which were skilled in mental manipulation, and they did a lot of damage to her. So we decided to restore her soul to her. We turned Toxini into a gas and took him outside. Rion was there. He gave Niev the paper to go get Bunny Elizabeth out of the barracks. And he teleported everyone to a room with a silver door with runes in Old Draconic. Basically, it was like a prison for Toxini. We debriefed a little bit with Johansson, and he asked if we felt tired. And when we all had agreed we felt tired, we woke up in our beds in Knightsbridge. Everyone gathered at Niev's, and Niev cast True Form on Elizabeth. She turned back to her normal self, except her eyes were still black, kind of like a rabbit's. And her shadow was trying to take a shadow object from Antaeus' shadow. It was the object that Antaeus had gotten out of the book a couple of episodes ago. Goron used Make Whole on the shadow and it attacked us. We subdued it and it went into Ivy's weapon. Antaeus was strength drained by the shadow. Ivy tries to talk to the weapon, and the shadow tries to convince Ivy to bring the shadow item to it. Antaeus told her not to. Antaeus used his psychometry, and he went unconscious. He had a vision where he saw Candor putting a cylinder into someone's head, and they say, "I can really hear Harcourt." The rest of the group is concerned that Antaeus is not waking up. Ivy wants to give the shadow what it wants. Goron and Niev disagreed. We were trying to do spells and try to be a little bit more cautious about it. Niev told Ivy that she was uncomfortable just doing it with no insider research. Ivy was adamant in wanting to do it, and she waited for Goron and Niev to be distracted and did it anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, I let you guys try all the spells and everything you could think of, and nothing worked, so I tried my way.
Well,
yeah, we're going to beat your ass for it.
Yeah, I was
Go
going to
for
say,
it.
we actually did say we were going to try more spells later, so it wasn't
Ivy needs discipline. She's undisciplined and unruly.
Maybe if people listened to me and made me feel like I wasn't a leper, I wouldn't just do
You're a
things
leper.
chaotically.
Ivy,
Wow!
Ivy,
Yeah.
Ivy. I'm gonna need you first and foremost. I thought about putting this on there myself, but I figured it's better that I just tell you. I'm going to need you to apply the sensitive feat to your
I
character
saw that
sheet.
coming.
Aww.
I saw
I
that
closed my
coming.
work for this. I have my full attention now.
Thank you.
Don't thank me. You're going to start paying me after I get fired.
I can't do that. I can barely pay myself.
I don't remember what all this feat said.
It just effectively just put it on there. You'll basically periodically get checks to identify weird phenomena. And as you hear Ivy kind of gasp for a moment, the two of you will kind of turn your head to see little flecks of black in Ivy's eyes, and the blade kind of stays sitting in between, right at her face level.
What the fuck are you doing, Ivy?
Her hand between where the blade and her head would be.
Get away from there.
You feel fine, Ivy. Nothing's wrong. Everything's okay.
Look, no one wanted to listen to me, and when people stop listening to me, I start doing what I think is best because people won't even give me the time of day to consider if maybe my ideas are worthwhile. I ask multiple times, why did this shadow go into my weapon? Do I ever get an answer? No, he just does something else and tells me nothing. And then he goes unconscious, and I can't even get answers.
We were trying stuff, Ivy. You said we would do that the last resort.
Yeah,
And
this
I
is
let you try
justification.
everything.
No. You know what? We told you not to do this. We said this would be a last resort, and you did it anyway. You didn't care what we had to say. You completely disregarded what we were trying to do. I will have you know. No, listen to me. I will have you know that you're tinkering around with magic that you don't understand ripped me from my sister and my family. I
didn't tinker around with any of that magic. That was not any of my doing.
But the same attitude of tinkering around with magic that you don't understand is what led you to do this. And how many times are we going to have to endure these consequences? You know what? You can deal with these consequences on your own. Get out of my house.
Okay. See ya. Hope he wakes up.
Yeah, your way didn't work. It did it.
Ivy, you are asked to leave, and Elizabeth looks at you in a very strange but almost thankful way. But a part of your brain says, fucking loser. She doesn't know what she could have had. None of your friends do. They don't get it. They don't understand. You're gonna be a lot better now. We're gonna help you.
I'll just mutter to myself, yeah, no one understands, and walk out.
That was a lot more intense than I imagined. Let's look at Antaeus here. I don't know. I think I already did a heal check. Is there anything with my clericalness? Do I know anything I could help him? Or
no, give me a. You don't have any ranks in Knowledge Arcana, right?
Knowledge Arcana, no.
Do you have any ranks in Insight?
No, I'm not a very intelligent character.
Okay. I feel like you're probably feeling a little bit like out of your element. You're a very divine caster. This is a very arcane thing. You're pretty sure magic's got a hold of him. Does Yamba have any ranks in Knowledge Arcana?
I have some ranks in Insight. I don't know if I could.
Yeah, give me an Insight check.
Okay.
Oh, God. Yeah, no. Not quite sure at all.
As I look at her, looking puzzled at him as well, as who do we call for this?
Well, my original idea, and I guess it hasn't really changed because her doing what she hasn't seemingly changed the situation, is to just see if he wakes up. Maybe give him a day or so. He has that ring on. He won't starve to death or anything.
So real quick, while all this is happening, let me do something here in the background. Oops. Moment. Should have done this ahead of time, but I wanted the surprise of it. I didn't realize it would take this long. All right. Whitney, can you look at your character sheets? Do you notice one there? You're starting to calm down as everything feels the most normal and together it ever has been. Do you know who I'm saying that to? Your two friends are there in the room, and Antaeus is, well, one of them is not the same, but you remember her not being the same. But your other is now seemingly unconscious on the floor.
You remember me?
What's wrong with Antaeus?
Well, I don't know where your memories start up, but some shadow magic or something. Kind of out of my depth here.
What do I have memory-wise?
You have very spotty memory. You remember being haunted and hunted by a large number of things. You remember for a while there were wild beasts that wanted you. There were some creatures that put a like curse on you, but you couldn't quite figure out what it was. And then like your shadow was suddenly out to get you. And the gremlins were the only thing helping you make your way to Levi. You just remember like them like directing you, giving you kind of all the calls for where to go, and trying as hard as you could to stay in the light as much as you could. But as you approach Levi, everything became kind of dark. Everything after that is just a blur. You haven't been in your body for a long time. You arrived in Levi, and the next thing you knew, you were waking up here in this room.
What happened to me? I don't remember. I feel like I would look down. Do I have a shadow?
You do not have a shadow.
It's gone. My shadow's gone.
We kind of had to fight it.
Oh. That's a relief, I guess.
I don't know if you remember me very well, but I'm
Barely.
Niev.
Yeah, I barely remember when we found out it was you and not Brianna anymore, but...
Do I have any knowledge? Is there like medical things in town, like a hospital, quote unquote hospital, or is there like a medical facilities?
A lot of the clergy has kind of replaced a lot of those services. So you can take them to like clerics or local apothecaries who usually specialize in some form of like clerical medicine. The other alternative is, of course, witch doctors.
No, I probably wouldn't. I probably would say I'm probably one of the most powerful clerics in this city, so I doubt that they could do anything. But maybe one of those medicine people, apothecaries. Maybe they have some. I know Antaeus does mess with alchemy or whatever. Maybe that's more suited to him anyway.
Well, I mean, I don't know. Like, I don't know what they could do.
Well, they could do more than what we can do. I don't know if it's dangerous leaving someone in this state. I don't even know what state he's in.
He just seems unconscious, right, Steve?
Mm-hmm.
It just looks like he's unconscious. I mean, I've seen him go into trances before, but nothing this long.
That's what I mean. It looks like he's unconscious to us, but who knows what's going on? I may be a cleric, but I'm not a trained physician or anything. I don't know if there's something that we need to worry about. I've heard of some cases of internal bleeding that isn't obvious. I don't know. Maybe something's going on that we need to help him with immediately.
Well, perhaps we should go back to the ministry. I don't know. I don't want to leave him alone.
Well, I don't know if the ministry has any medical facilities, but...
Well, they might know somebody that specializes in medicine. I mean, how else do they help the ones that get hurt?
Well, the apothecaries or the clerics.
Well, again, I don't really want to leave him alone.
Well, we can stay with him.
You can carry him?
Well, together we probably can. Well, Elizabeth, I assume you could help us as well. You're a strong lady, from what I remember.
Is it a good idea for me to go back to the ministry?
Well, like I said, we're not going to the ministry. We're going to the apothecaries.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
It's all right.
I will say there was someone that was very sad when you left. I don't really know them very well, but I guess it was your former boss.
Yes, I should probably go see her. Is she still in town?
I don't know. I haven't heard from her very much.
I think you should stick with us until we get all this figured out.
That's fine, I guess. Still kind of getting back into feeling my normal self again, I guess.
Yes, let's help get Antaeus up, and let's bring him somewhere to get some medical attention.
Okay. You can hoist up Antaeus and take him to a local apothecary. As you enter, the place smells very unusual. Lots and lots of like scents, probably a mix of too many, making a very uncomfortable to kind of breathe in sensation. Various vapors pour from a variety of kettles and pots and filters and other devices for storing liquids and vapors. As you make your way in, there's a little chime above the door that rings. And, seemingly old, probably... It's a little hard to tell. A little short for a human, a little tall for a halfling. Comes wandering up from around the counter. What do you got here?
Oh, hello. Our friend here was doing some sort of trance. I don't know exactly what he does, but he does these little meditation type things, but he's not awakened, and normally he would have by now. We were hoping that perhaps you might be able to help him.
Why bring him here? You have a cleric in your midst?
Everything I've tried hasn't awakened him, hence we're worried it might be something of more of a biological interaction and not something magic can't really help. Do you have any thoughts or help on this?
He walks over to a table and starts picking up a few things and moves them to, slides a bit of room and starts moving them to another table. All right, lay him up here for me. And he'll kind of, go over, grab a little step stool, and he'll, get up on it and get above him. He'll take a set of goggles from out of a backpack, put them onto his head, and lower them down slowly. Oh, this is interesting. Oh, a concoction like this is not a good idea. Very dangerous if you put yourself in the wrong mind state. Oh, dear boy, what have you done? He dabbles in mind magic, doesn't he?
I believe so.
Yes.
Well, I believe I can set this right. But before I do, let's talk cost.
Oh, yes, of course. How much to fix him up?
Well, let me be clear. A condition like this should clear up when one of the spells, whichever one is the shortest, terminates. Or I can get rid of it right now if you're a little concerned that wherever he's at in there might be eating him alive from the inside. You never quite know. But to definitively break him loose, I'll have to use something a little more powerful. And so we're probably looking at in the realm of about 2,200 gold.
I'm willing to pay that if you think he could be at risk. Gold is no matter for someone's life.
Well, I'd say I could go in there after him and take a look, but He's shielded himself against that, so not much I can do to help.
Would there, if something was attacking, would there be any signs, or would he lay still like this, or would he wither, or?
You wouldn't see it. He is in a perfect trance. Looks like he's gotten quite good at it.
Well then, gold matters not to me for someone's life. Help him.
Okay. Let us cut back real quick to Antaeus.
Uh-oh.
Why haven't you left yet? You should be gone by now. Shouldn't last that long. I don't know what else to talk about.
Well, I did my normal rituals. I was doing things I normally do before I go to sleep. Did the Dream Shield. I did the scrying the scrying detection and the normal things. I guess I don't read my journal. That doesn't have any use anymore.
What do you mean your normal things?
The things I was doing when you saw me, I'm assuming.
Right, but I didn't see what you were casting, so if you could go over them in detail. I want to make sure. Like, you should be gone by now. The vision should be over. I should be. Why am I still here? It's your vision.
Especially if this is a vision. Oh, this would be something in my head then. This is in my head, and there's my vision, and that explains why you would be able to respond to me in kind, I suppose.
Right, and I guess you're sort of me, but not me, so that all makes sense, I guess.
Yes. Well, I made sure to use my Dream Shield, which protects me from being invaded, so to speak. Protects me against mind-affecting things while I'm asleep. Yes. So, and then I also put on my, what was the other one? Oh, the polypurpose panacea, of course, so that it would have my lucid dreams. Makes it easier. Oh, and shroud thoughts as well. Yes, that yes, that way other people won't be able to.
And right before doing this, you activated your ability to see about objects through your shadow.
The detect scrying?
You're not shadow. You are a shadow. No, you.
Well, what happened
right
beforehand?
An ability like I do, an ability to touch things and get an idea of their history.
Yes, the.
I've started referring to it as psychometry.
Psychometry. Yes.
You've put yourself in a mind prison inadvertently.
Well, that explains a lot.
You must be more careful when you're doing these things.
I suppose so. That's hours per level.
Well,
that's probably not good.
Good thing you did it now. Which one is the shortest of those? You're probably here for a few hours, right?
In Shroud Thoughts, I believe it's around. I believe it lasts about 100 minutes.
Oh,
at this
dear.
point.
Well, that'll eventually clear up. So while I have you here, maybe it's important that I make sure you're aware of a few things. The first and most important thing is that don't grow your shadow, because just don't do it. I don't think I need to give you anything else other than that. If I give you too many details, it might encourage you.
Just out of curiosity, if I were to ask you questions, would you only be able to respond with the knowledge that I have?
No, I would only be able to respond with the knowledge I have in the timeline I'm in at the time I'm doing this, I think.
Okay, then this isn't all just something that's, well, it is in my own head, so to speak, but not a figment of my own imagination, so I suppose that's good. I suppose you wouldn't have seen her probably, but Ivy.
Who?
Who's
an Ivy? The plant?
Ivy Phelps.
Phelps.
No, not the plant.
Not familiar.
Do you know the name? Yes, it's something we've rarely come across, even when trying to find information about her family. She appears to be, how do I put this? Part arcane?
Oh, like the head and the heart.
She has, yes, something like that. She has a sword as well. What kind of sword was it again? Was it a
Scimitar.
scimitar? Okay. She has a scimitar.
No, it's an S-stock.
It seems to
Oh,
be,
sorry. Yes. Similar, but bigger.
yes, that's stock. My apologies, I misspoke. Some sort of ability to trap things. Well, trap is maybe not the right word, but there's different chambers in it. And we defeated something, and it seems to go into her weapon somehow, but it didn't affect the things that were already in there. Or her parents or something. Maybe her mom, they're tied together. I don't know.
I wish you came with my memories, because this would be a really good time for you to know who the Red Moons are, but I can't really... It doesn't really do you any good.
The Red Moons?
Yes, there was a kid...
Is there a knowledge I can make at the moment?
Yeah. Give me a knowledge history. Ooh. The Red Moon family is less of a family and more of like one guy who sired a bunch of kids all throughout the world. He was a sort of hired assassin for the Galen, who ruled over the country of the country whose name is now the country's name now escapes me. But he traveled around from place to place, and everywhere he went doing his deeds, he would have to sort of integrate into the society first in order to get his target. And he seemed to have this penchant for siring a child just about everywhere he went.
Yes. I vaguely know of him. Well-traveled and fertile.
Yes.
Fertile? Fertile.
Yeah, he was a very fertile man.
A way of putting it.
His son, though, one of his sons, was working on an object which could trap the souls of other creatures. He was building it originally based on a prototype that was discovered, but then the timeline shifted. The prototype could have ended up in different hands, but the prototype was the same one that was used by Lars in the during the breaking, when they had to bring chaos in line.
The deity.
Yes. He was a very obnoxious person.
Excuse me?
Yes. Sorry, that's irrelevant. What is relevant here is these plans were lost some time ago to one or maybe more of his followers. It is possible that your friend... what can she trap? Have you seen the extent to what things this weapon can trap?
As of right now, it's been shadows, to my knowledge. Or a shadow, at least.
Did she have control of the shadow?
No, we didn't trap...
Did she have control of the shadow when she captured it? Or did it seemingly take control of her?
Is there one of those that sounds more like what happens than the other?
Her attitude and demeanor didn't change when it happened, so you would have no real indication as to whether or not it took her. It wouldn't have appeared that way. It seemed to go into the weapon.
Oh, okay. So that's exactly what I was imagining. Is it basically just kind of went in there and nothing seemed to come of it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yes, it didn't seem to do much of anything aside from get trapped inside of there. I don't recall it having at least any visible effect.
Good. then she can't steal souls yet.
Excuse me, steal souls?
Shit. I shouldn't have told you that. You're a shadow me.
Yes, I suppose. That's what you say. Is that
Listen,
something we should be concerned about?
your friend, as I said earlier, is very dangerous. If she ever starts attacking you, you need to run. The book won't be able to save you if she kills you.
That's concerning.
And it's really important that that book not be lost. And you as well. You as well.
Again. Oh, thank you for your concern.
Look, you're my dark side, okay? You're the shadow for a reason.
What's that supposed to mean?
Oh, come now. You've got to understand. You... And Antaeus awakens. The apothecary took a liquid and kind of went through an almost like kind of rubbing it into Antaeus' skin after stripping him from head to toe. And as he did so, you see like there's a bit of a twinkle and the residue of the liquid fades into the air. And Antaeus' eyes will open wide.
You didn't have to strip me much because most of my clothes had already been taken off.
Antaeus, are you awake?
Because they were weighing too much. Yes? Hello?
By the gods, you are saved.
I suppose so.
Are you alright?
Mostly.
What the hell happened?
Had an interesting... So, apparently...
Well, hold on.
Some concoction of the...
Hold on. We're in this nice apothecary's place. I don't know if you want to be talking about whatever.
Let's go back to my house.
Yes, do make sure that you come again, and I'm assuming you've already paid me, because I didn't make sure of that beforehand. Good.
Yeah,
Thank you for
kind of just like
updating.
these stacks of gold coins.
Thank you.
Oh.
Let's get out of here. Thank you,
Yeah.
sir.
You feeling better, or do I need to carry you again?
You recognize
doing
that's
all right.
Elizabeth and not Ivy.
Wait. Aren't you a rabbit?
No.
Fix that.
No, don't you remember? We fixed that, yeah.
Oh, yes. Sorry.
Can you walk or let's get out of here?
I suppose I can. Still at 2 strength, so I'll do my best to walk.
We'll put
Starts
him like
hobbling.
in between.
I'll just throw him over my shoulder and start walking. Like, you walk too slow.
Sure.
You guys can get back to Niev's home. And let's cut for a minute before you do that to Ivy. Ivy, where do you go after you're kicked out?
I feel like I'd probably go back to my home for a couple minutes, walk around, and then sort of be like, fuck this, and maybe head out and see if Sigmar's is at his normal place.
Yeah, you can find Sigmar's there. He is finishing up a deal with somebody as you arrive, but he will spot you almost immediately and sort of hasten through the transaction. And he will kind of like, what? Back up?
Back. Just, thought I'd come see how you're doing.
I'm not so used to you coming out like this. Still a bit of a surprise.
I've come out here a couple times, right? Still that weird to you?
It'll always feel a little bit weird.
Well, everyone else I know is pissed at me right now, so figured I'd come see the one person who probably isn't.
Why would they be pissed at you?
Well, Look, I understand I'm not the smartest person, but people don't like to listen to me, and so sometimes I get impulsive, and I do things that maybe they don't agree with because I feel like no one considers that just maybe I might have good ideas, and instead they act like I'm some crazy person. And, well, they're pissed at me because I may have acted impulsively.
Oh, Ivy, impulsiveness is not something that people should be looking down on. Impulsiveness is how things get done. If everybody spent all their time just thinking about everything all the time, nothing would ever happen.
That's how I feel too. It's like, sure, maybe there's a slight risk involved, but sometimes you never know what's going to happen unless you just take the leap and do it and see what happens. And sometimes, like, maybe just because something seems a little dangerous doesn't mean it has to be a terrible thing. Like, things can work out.
Sometimes they work out better than expected, right?
Yeah. I don't know. Some weird stuff happened. Elizabeth's back, by the way.
Back? I thought she
Yeah.
was,
I don't know what happened, to be honest. She was. We brought her back because we had reason to believe maybe she could help us on our next mission. So we had gotten her, and well, some things went weird when we were trying to restore her back to her normal form. Her shadow did some weird stuff. It was trying to reach for an object, and I thought maybe we should just let the shadow have the object and see what happens. Like, you never know. Could have helped her, could have saved her. Who knows what it would have done, but I don't know. Everyone fought it, and then the shadow went into my weapon, and no one would give me any idea of what the heck was going on. And Antaeus does his Antaeus shit and basically goes unconscious, and no one knows why except for this item that drops out of his hand that the shadows wanted, and then my blade is talking to me and telling me to take the item, and well, I took the item, and I don't know.
Well, I think that your friends, especially that stubborn bearded one, don't really take into consideration that you do a lot and that you have to take action inevitably. And I think that so far it's been taking action that's resulted in you guys getting a lot of things done.
That's how I feel, but every time I suggest an action, I usually get shot down and have to listen to the let's look at every other possible option before we even consider the action that Ivy wants to do.
Well, how about this? How about if I give you some time to say whatever action you want, and someone else will do it?
That sounds great. I think I could use that right now.
The three of you can arrive back at Niev's, or I guess the four of you can arrive back at Niev's. Close the door behind you.
All right, you want to fill us in on what the hell's going on into this?
I'm gonna. Well, I'm assuming my stuff is still over where my body was at.
Yep.
I'll frantically head over there and then start rummaging and making sure everything is there.
It is.
There's something you should know, Antaeus.
Except for one thing.
What's that?
When you went unconscious, you were holding the shadow object. We couldn't grab it. I was able to turn your hands so that it would fall to the floor. And Ivy got it in her head that if she did what her sword told her to do and absorbed the shadow object, it would wake you up. And so she waited for Goron and I to be distracted because we told her we didn't want to do that. As we told her that we would rather save that for a last resort. She waited for our backs to be turned, and she did it anyway. I may have gotten angry. I kicked her out of the house. I was just... Well... I don't want you guys to misunderstand. I don't resent being here, but I just feel that with these items, we should be very careful because sometimes they have unintended consequences, like ripping someone from their family.
Exactly. And as far as being angry, you kicking her out of the house kind of tracks on what I would expect from your scale of anger. No offense.
It was
Oh,
either
you
that
could
or get
stab her.
stabby. Yeah.
Yeah, that was. As soon as I think about that, I'm gonna kind of like look over her facial features real quick to see if she's looking more Feyan or not.
There is some change a little bit to her face, but nothing significant. You've had a lot of time, like, sort of studying these things, but nothing dramatic. Just little tiny changes. Maybe from aging, maybe from something else.
You said she took the crystal?
She used her sword and absorbed it.
I would just
She didn't
like to
attack
point
you
out,
guys or anything, did she?
I did not approve your language in the moment, but other than that,
Listen, if any instance calls for the use of the word fuck, that one did.
stop. There's no need to cuss.
But yeah, no, she didn't attack us. She was just defensive, said that nobody listened to her. Nobody was willing to consider her ideas, and so she just went ahead and did it.
If she does, run. You have to get away from her.
If she does what?
If she attacks, you can't get killed by her or.
She may be a
by
little
the weapon.
impulsive, but I could never imagine Ivy betraying us or attacking us.
I mean,
To be
wasn't
fair, I wouldn't-
what she
wouldn't
did
have
a
expected her to do that.
betrayal?
Slightly, but I mean, she didn't mean harm on us. I think she just got several things impacting her and influencing her. Maybe she's not as strong-willed as some of us. I don't know. But I have to believe that she would never do anything to harm us.
Well, if she's being
Intentionally.
controlled by something, then perhaps she wouldn't intentionally harm us. But I guess the point is if she does look like she's going to attack us, we should probably run.
Yes, absolutely.
Why? I could hold her off and help her regain her senses. The aid of Kraskaran, of course.
The weapon she has.
Hmm.
I have reason to believe that it does more than just store shadows.
Hmm.
And that ties to what I saw when I used the psychometry on the object, the crystal. Next time I'll have to make sure not to use that exact combination of spells, because it seems that that's what trapped me in there for as long as I did.
That's what the apothecary said.
Yes, I thought I was being extra careful. So I started out and I was on the ground and I was watching somebody put that crystal. They were putting it. It was being put into their head, correct?
Front of their head.
head.
Front of their head.
Front of their head. Were they doing it themselves or
No,
Candor
it
was
was
doing
being
it?
done by Candor.
Okay. That man that I described, the Candor, I believe just said his name was. He said that he was putting that crystal into somebody's head, and they were able to speak to somebody named Harcourt. I don't know exactly what that means, but it might be something similar to speaking. It might be something similar to that headband that I have, and I'll pull out the one that I was using to talk to other things, other souls of some kind. I don't know though. And then I moved. I was able to move. I don't know how. I usually, in most instances, I'm not able to move. I'm stationary focused. Went up to the ceiling, and I looked down, and I was able to see. I'll describe them again. I don't remember offhand
Yeah,
what
you
they all
can
look
go
like.
over the 5 of them.
And then the one spoke to me. The can't man Candor. He spoke to me, and was confused as to why I was in there for so long, and explained to me that I was his shadow, which is odd, but not entirely surprising given the recent circumstances. Felt very confusing.
Where's the part where you're talking about Ivy's blade? I don't understand. Why do you think it can do
yes.
danger?
I was trapped in there for so long that. What do you know about Lars?
Well,
They're loud. They want to like kill people that lose duels.
I mean, that's their followers. You mean the god?
Yes.
What are you?
Yes, specifically his history. As far as there's an item, a prototype of something that he had made.
Lars himself?
Give me a knowledge religion check, Ghoul Run. Yeah, so you'll know that there is the old story of Lars and how the followers of Lars fought chaos so strongly that they intended to capture chaos itself. That there were places where chaos had become manifested into creatures that were alive and walked the earth. And it is believed that Lars himself fought the strongest of these creatures and sealed it within a gem, which is why the symbol of Lars is as it is, a darkened soul trapped within a gem that signifies the end of chaos, or the control over chaos that followers of Lars believe that they can attain through force and order.
I have heard of such a tale of followers of Lars containing creatures of chaos in these gems. Now that you bring it up, it sounds similar to what her blade kind of does, I guess.
Speaking of the gems, you said that was his holy symbol, Steve?
Yes, his holy symbol is a gem with a shade trapped inside.
Oh, that sounds oddly specific and oddly familiar. That's concerning. But yes, her blade is some derivative of that. That prototype that Lars was using. Something about the Red Moon family. Family is a strong word. I guess there was once a man. Was it Silas? Do I know the first name or?
Yeah, you know that it is Silas. While you're kind of reminiscing on this, give me a quick insight check. I want to see if after some things you said, something suddenly ticks in your head. There's a realization here as you're kind of going into this. A realization that, if anything, if a human wielding a weapon that can capture shadows was reversed, a shadow holding a weapon could potentially use that same weapon to capture people.
Oh no.
What is it? I recognize that look on your face. It seems like you've just put something together.
Something about the way this weapon works. If a human, a living creature, were to use that to capture shadows per se, something about the way that weapon is engineered leads me to believe that it's likely that if it were the roles were reversed and a shadow were to use that weapon on people, it would have the same effect.
And shadows wield material weapons?
Not typically.
Who said that?
I'll pull out my bomb. Well, I guess like my mixtures for bombs. Well, if what I've been told was true, then it's not plausible, but it's not something I've heard about before.
Well, if you're saying this weapon works in such a way, and it's a instrument of divine making, perhaps shadows could wield it.
You think Ivy's shadow trapped her parents?
Maybe. Seems too coincidental of all this. We've seen her blade capture a shadow already, and then she said that something in the blade was asking her to grab that thing from you. Might be trying to act through Ivy to wield the weapon the way it wants. I don't. Maybe it's trying to
She is a
get out.
shadow. If she is a shadow, and they were.
She can't be a shadow,
creatures,
right?
then-
What do we know about shadows? Like, is there any way for Ivy to be one without us knowing? Or
I mean, Ivy casts a shadow. She cannot be a shadow.
right? Oh,
Oh,
okay, yeah.
for shadow were to somehow use the weapon, their shadow could have theoretically.
The logistics
the
of this part aren't like making sense. This is just like a revelation about the weapon that you came to. The fundamental idea being like perhaps if you use the weapon, you could take souls with it. But it doesn't make sense because like shadows have a limited ability to interact with living organisms. But when it comes to manipulating physical objects, that starts getting a little bit more tricky.
Do we? I mean, I
That's
guess we need to have this
interesting.
conversation with Ivy, but perhaps she saved this blade for just. I know it has to do with releasing her parents or something. Perhaps she just does not wield this in normal combat, and we have her fashion a new blade. I don't. What do you think, Antaeus?
Does the blade? Did the blade seem to, or would I even know if the blade seems to absorb them upon being killed, or if it was something that she had to do herself, or
That part you're not sure of. You don't know if there was
Okay.
something extra she was
That might be it.
activating or if it was just from her like being the one to cut them down.
yes, perhaps it would be best if she didn't use this as often going forward, because I don't know how the mechanics of that work.
Well, that's something we're gonna have to talk to her about eventually. But is there anything else you found out when you were in your dream state?
I don't know.
You don't know.
I'm
You don't
blanking.
remember.
I don't know. I don't think that there was anything else off the top of my head. It's all very overwhelming, to say the least. But I am a shadow. I don't know how I could be a physical form that doesn't. I don't know. I'll need to do research on that as well, I suppose.
That name Harcourt sounds familiar.
Does it?
Somewhat. I can't think of where, but it does sound familiar.
Last session I think I talked to him about the book, right? About how James gave me the book and all that stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm forgetting what we were talking about last session. I don't think that he would have mentioned Harcourt though.
I mean, perhaps it was just a student at my school or something. That name sounded kind of familiar to me.
I'll have to remember that just in case. I'll have to do some research on that. Felt like I was in there forever though.
It felt like you were in
But
there
perhaps we
forever
should-
for us too, because everything feels like it takes 10 times more time whenever you're under stress and not sure what's going on with someone.
Yes. Speaking of, do you guys know where Ivy's at the moment?
No.
No.
We'll have to find her.
Suppose we should maybe do that unless we have other things to attend to.
Well, it's pretty late now. Maybe we should let her cool down and let things simmer.
It's not that late. It was morning time.
Yeah, it's like
whenever we-
afternoon now.
Oh, never mind.
Well, I mean, if you want to give her the day to kind of simmer down, that might be a good idea as well.
I kind of grip and release my blade. Yeah, I think simmering down might actually be a good idea.
And with that note, let us take our first break. Back shortly. we're back. So, you guys. Oh, I'm echoing. What? Oh, hold on. I'm echoing. There we go. That's gone. All right. So, you guys are back at home, discussing options for whether you're going to let Ivy spend some time sort of getting over this, or if you wanted to go search for her. And it seemed like there was a lean towards giving her some space.
Yeah. Well, Niev also feels like that it might be good for her to also calm down from all of this.
So, where am I supposed to be sleeping? Do I still have a house here?
I don't. We got these houses after you left, but you can stay with me.
Or you can go see your parents.
Well, I believe you were also inquiring as to whether or not, what was her name? Your
Maha?
Maha, yes. I believe, as far as I know, she's still here.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure if I don't really know how to. I don't really know how to tell Maha I'm back and not insane anymore, basically.
Speaking of which, what's the last thing that you remember?
When? Like, like here or like before?
Before Lizzie, I suppose.
The last thing I remember before Levi is my shadow trying to attack me. The gremlins helping me get to Levi safely, and then everything kind of goes fuzzy right as I arrived.
That's very interesting.
You remember seeing us in Kari 4?
I think so.
You do not remember seeing the Makari 4
I don't.
because you... Oh, no, I'm sorry. You would have remembered seeing the Makari 4. Just,
I was like, I
just
feel
barely,
like...
yeah.
Yeah.
I was thinking of the wrong place. Sorry.
Well, that's good, I suppose. But I guess, aside from grilling you with questions, how do you feel? How are you?
I feel better than I have in a really long time, actually. Probably even before the whole boogeyman thing. Like, I feel better.
That's good and fascinating. That's good, though. That's very good. Maybe they know something up there. Maybe they... Anyway, I still have to see if I can get access to their records later, I suppose.
But, this is a little strange. I don't have a shadow anymore.
Ah! It makes two of us then. Well, yes, two of us.
I mean, I'm thankful because it kind of tried to kill me, but it's a little weird to not have it.
Well, you see, I don't know how much you remember of this, but Goron cast a spell on it and it started attacking us, and Ivy sucked it up into her sword.
So this Ivy basically saved me then.
I guess it was going after something Antaeus had.
Yes, I suppose she saved you from it in the moment, but things could be much, much worse long term, unfortunately.
Much worse. I mean, I don't see how. I feel better than I've felt since as long as I can remember. How could it be much worse in the long run. This seems pretty damn good.
Well, I mean, in terms of much worse in regards to Ivy, I suppose. I'm very concerned about her.
Well, she literally had the ability to do something no one else in my entire life has been able to fix about me, so I'll have to remember to thank her for that.
Yes, what she did does not. Yes, I suppose it doesn't take away from the good that it's done, but I am just concerned about the consumption of more, not consumption, I suppose, the absorption of more shadows, what that'll do to her.
You always think too much.
I don't have an argument against that.
Okay, but seriously, how do we figure out if I still have my place here? No offense, but it'd be nice to sleep in my own bed again.
I don't even know where you live.
I can't remember. I knew I had a place at the barracks, but I can't remember if that's where I was staying. Because if so, then that would be gone. Because that was from being a knight. But I don't remember if I had a separate place other than staying at the barracks.
Well, even still, you left for long enough that you would have lost that anyway.
Probably, yeah. Okay.
It's a pretty safe assumption.
Yeah, I guess it's here are my parents.
Well, not necessarily. There are some inns nearby. There was
Yes,
one
the
that
one that kicked me out for my wolf.
Yes. That one.
I'll go like pat Hunter's head.
I'll give you a little bit of a nuzzle as you do that.
Yes, there's that one. And I don't know if there are any other ones.
There are a couple of others.
None that we've really encountered that often, though, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well. If you need a place to stay, we can spot you for a hotel or an inn, or you could stay here at one of our places, but it sounds like you'd like to have
I mean, I probably should go see my parents as much as I don't want to. They should probably know that I'm back and better.
Well, is that a conversation you want to have today with them?
I mean, it's kind of like ripping off a Band-Aid. Probably the sooner the better.
Not a bad idea. Get it out of the way, and then you hopefully won't have to deal with it later.
Yeah, and deal with the extra yelling for not coming right away. I mean,
The yelling?
I mean, you know, if they find out I was in town for like a week and then didn't come and see them and waited a week, yeah, there's probably going to be a little, I mean, happy, but yelling. Why didn't you come see us sooner?
Yes, I suppose parents can be like that. Yeah, I mean, if you want to do that, I suppose you could. It wouldn't be a bad idea, get it out of the way. Assuming that's something you'd prefer to do alone.
Yeah, I don't see a reason for you guys to come. I mean, I'm not really part of your group anymore. I don't work for the ministry, so I don't.
And?
I mean, you never met my parents before now. Why would you meet them now?
Well, I've tried to, but that was for
mean,
other reasons.
You know, you're going to get married to Antaeus, of course.
No, they're influential people in the town. And
He's not even close to my type. Sorry, Antaeus.
I feel like I should be offended by that. But it was purely...
You really shouldn't. Don't think too much about it.
I'm not sure if that's a dig against you or a dig against me at this point, but either way, yes, I was trying to get a meeting with her parents because I had intentions of running some business plans with them, but unfortunately I wasn't able to make any of those meetings or make any of the meetings happen anyways.
Yeah, not surprised. My parents are kind of stuck up. I'm not surprised they wouldn't meet with you.
But they like money, right?
Yeah, but they also have a lot of money. So kind of has to be what's the word I'm trying to get here? Influential money, something along those lines.
Well,
It'd have to be a
Maybe-
substantial amount.
maybe we
necessarily
could.
That just needs a power level to go with it, not just money.
Ah, yes. Affluence.
I was gonna suggest maybe we could have a welcome back Elizabeth party, and her parents could come. I'm pretty good at throwing some dinner parties.
I mean, no offense at all, but were you planning on having it at your house?
Me? Yeah, I was
Yes.
gonna have it here.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but if you invited them to your house, and feel free to correct me, Elizabeth. Something tells me they would probably not come.
I mean, they'll probably come. They might make some snide remarks about your place, but they'll probably come.
Ah, probably more so on your behalf than anything else, I suppose.
Most likely.
I just thought it might be a good way for Antaeus to meet them and maybe talk about his business ideas.
Well, that's good to know, then. At least you have some sort of clout with them, and they're not completely distant from you. So I suppose that could be used.
I mean, it's kind of more of one of those things where they wanted me to. I was supposed to be the prodigy daughter, right? And they still kind of wanted me to be that, even though I was kind of doing my own thing. I don't even know now. I've been gone for a while.
Ah, yes, but you are living proof that, albeit maybe their methods are not ethical in any way, shape, or form, but you are proof that there is at least some kind of remedy for these this sanity, this loss of sanity, this madness. So there's something to that, I suppose.
Yeah, I feel more clear-headed than I have, I think, my entire life.
That's good. It means that there's a way to combat it. It's not simply just something that we have to deal with, and something that is irreversible.
Yeah, just cut off your shadow or something? I don't know.
Yes,
Well,
hopefully
it's
there's.
better than having
Consequences?
it's better than having a dragon possess you.
Yeah.
You wouldn't know anything about that, though, would you, Elizabeth?
Do I know that a dragon possessed me? No.
No?
Do I know that I had spent time not in my body, or did it feel like I was in my body?
It never felt like you were in your body. You basically went from arriving at the outskirts of Levi to being here.
I don't know what you're getting at, but I don't think having a dragon. Wait, what's a dragon?
Ha 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 ha. Like Pyre, yes?
Did I see Pyre on Elizabeth? I can't remember.
I thought you were there the first time, but I
Yeah, but
could
the
be wrong.
first time I don't think you really saw it. You saw like something.
But then she was
Did
in
I
Kari
see
4.
any of that?
Yeah,
Kari
you
4?
wouldn't have seen Pirate Kari 4, you would have seen the creatures that
But I
were,
also
like,
wouldn't know that they're
higher
called
spawn.
dragons. Maybe I've
Correct.
seen some of these creatures, but I wouldn't know they're called dragons.
Correct.
Yeah,
Yes.
so statement saying, what's a dragon?
Big scaly creatures. There were the smaller ones that are offshoots of some sort of theirs. The dragonkin, I suppose. I think that's what they were called.
So,
Big
like,
scaly winged bird-like not birds. I suppose that's not accurate.
Winged beasts.
Yes, lizards almost.
okay, if you say so.
Yes.
Okay.
They have the ability, well, at least Pyre had the ability to become a humanoid type creature in our presence. And then,
Should I knock your head too hard in that dream?
oh, no. No, this has nothing to do with the brain damage that I've taken. That was
Really
all.
off the drugs.
Well, speaking of which, I've been working on some new ones. I don't generally take my own drugs. It's not something that I do. It's more for a profit of sorts, and for experimentation, of course, because.
All right, well, if there's not anything more of importance for me to be doing here, I should probably go to get this shit over with, see my parents.
Is that a yes or no to the dinner party?
I will invite them. I make no promises if they'll come.
Sounds good.
What day?
Let's do it tomorrow night.
Okay.
Same time as usual?
Yeah, about 7 or so.
All right, I'll see you about 7 tomorrow night.
Okay.
Excellent.
You have made plans for a dinner party. Elizabeth can go to see her family. So, after some time with Zigmars, how is Ivy feeling? Any more clear-headed or still frustrated?
I think now it would be a little bit more like maybe slightly clear-headed, but also slightly like I think like she definitely has a feeling of combination of like unwanted, and I'm trying to think of like the right way to phrase it, like someone who doesn't feel like anyone listens to her.
Mm-hmm.
So like she's clear-headed, she's like calmed down a bit, but there's still those feelings of not really wanting to
be ignored anymore.
Yeah.
Okay. Did you want to stay here for the night, or are you gonna head out? I got things I've gotta go take care of. I spent a little more time here than I thought I would.
Staying here for the night would be nice. I mean, don't let me keep you. Go do what you have to do if you don't mind me just hanging out for a bit.
Yeah, just don't touch that, and you should be fine. And my accent keeps changing, I'm sorry.
Alright, I'll try to remember all those things you just pointed to. I'll just try to touch as little as possible.
Yeah, that would be a good idea.
Okay.
He will head off. Is there anything between now and the dinner party that anybody specifically wants to get done?
Yes, actually, talking to Zigmars is something that I would need to do at some point.
Yep, you can meet up with him that evening.
Sounds good.
Just waiting for him to come knock on his door and I answer him. He's not here, go away.
I don't, at present, you're the only person who knows where Zigmars lives.
I know where he operates, though. I can find him, I'm sure.
Yeah, about the time you get there, he's not quite there, but he shows up like a minute or two after you're kind of in the area asking around about him. If it isn't my favorite business partner.
Yes. Same to you. I'll speak in Goblin if he seems to prefer that.
Much better language. Much better.
Yes, I figured it would earn me a little bit of extra favor.
When did you pick that up?
Very recently. I don't know why I neglected to do that sooner.
A lot of people don't think it's very useful, but a lot of the guards don't typically pick it up.
Well, I was following this plan that I had of figuring out what worked into what languages and trying to learn them all, I suppose, best I can. It makes it easier to read everything and understand everything. Speaking of which,
Took care of your plant, by the way.
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome. You'll be fetching a fine penny with it. Here's your initial cut. He'll hand you a bag. It actually feels a little light.
Is it? I'll kind of like look inside of it.
There are some sapphire pieces in there. 10 to be precise.
That would probably explain why it feels a little light. I actually might feel a little heavy now that I'm
yeah, with 2 strength.
Well, I mean, with a 2 strength, but I meant more so in the sense that like I was expecting it to be heavier because it was a different currency. That's very good. Very good indeed. But speaking of business, I suppose.
Mm-hmm.
Last time we were here, I was trying to expand operations a little bit, and I wasn't sure if you had been able to, I don't know, find anybody that would be suitable for such a task.
I found people. I'm always good at finding people.
Yes, I don't necessarily need anybody per se. I more so to stay here and run the day-to-day stuff if I'm out and about, because it seems like we've got some more ministry stuff happening lately. With our promotion and all. I don't know if you've heard.
Listen, I know some of what you want to do, and I'm happy to have somebody take care of the legwork. Your benefit is your status. You can do a lot for us by using that status, by leveraging that status, by making sure that the wrong people aren't showing up at the right times. If you know what I mean.
Specifically, no, but I have an idea.
Listen, I don't need any Elizabeth types coming out when we're trying to do our thing.
Oh.
And we've got a big thing planned. Really big. There's a pretty big mixer we're about to do. And, it should be fun.
Where are we at the moment having this conversation?
In one of the alleys he usually hangs out in.
So nobody around, at least nobody that's not like a goblinoid?
No.
Okay. Mixer, you say?
That's what we call it.
You are quite talented at these sort of things. The planning and all that.
It's my job. I'm a community organizer of sorts.
Yes. That is a good way of putting it.
One thing, though. Get him to lay off on the witches.
I feel like I should ask you more about that now. The witches seem concerning. At best.
Useful. They're very useful. You wouldn't believe the shit I got him on.
Oh. What exactly have they been doing lately?
Enhancing the supply.
They haven't been causing chaos around the city like before, were they? Have they?
They haven't been causing it anymore. People are choosing the chaos now.
This is all more cryptic than I'd like it to be. Haven't been in town for a while. I don't know the day-to-day updates of these things.
Why don't I just give you a sample? Just a small sample. Do not take more than this. Don't go asking around for more. It feels a bit unusual. It feels like it has like a gummy texture, but it's too like flexible. It almost flexes like liquid would, like Quicksilver would in your hand. But it like always pulls back into its initial shape. You just let that linger in your mouth for a while. It'll do the trick. Yeah, you are looking at this. You need you're not. There's not a lot you're going to be able to do with this in your hand. But this is the kind of thing that is a slow release thing. And you can feel the way it's augmented. It is not. This is not something that materially you know of any substances that could produce this kind of effect.
Anything I should be concerned about with this?
Don't make plans for the night. If you're going to take it. Or day, or whatever time period it is.
About 10 hours or so, you're saying?
Roughly.
Is there anything I should be expecting when I take this?
Expect nothing. Enjoy everything.
Should I be doing this on my own? I don't It's gonna give me some sort of out-of-body experience or something.
Now you're getting the picture.
Oh.
It's kind of your idea.
Oh. This is one sample size, I'm assuming?
It is.
Is there a way to hold this that isn't in my hand? I guess I probably have vials of some sort, but...
He'll hand you a small vial, just in case.
Thank you. So this is... This isn't anything like the one drug that I've been doing a little bit of research into on the side. I haven't found a whole lot about it, though.
It's similar, but not the same. This is localized. So if a group of people are in the same place, roughly doing it at the same time, there'd be a little bit of unity between all of them.
And is there more of this, or?
We've been having conflicts here because of the nature of what we need to do to make this work. We need the witches to work. We need your old smelly friend to cooperate a little bit. It'd be nice if we could get him out of the picture, and I think you might be able to help us with that. You have that item he gave you.
Yes, this kind of like pull out the dagger.
That one indeed. Perhaps you wouldn't mind handing it over for a little bit?
Handing it over to you, or?
Yeah. Just for a couple of days.
I suppose I don't see the problem with that.
Thank you.
No problem. Now, is there anything I have to worry about with this?
No, you should be fine.
Okay. I just would hate for something to happen and not have any.
As long as no one else is in close proximity to you at the same time you're doing it, you should be fine.
So if I were to do it in my own home, I should be okay.
Yes, certainly.
Interesting. I suppose I'll have to test this out then. This might be a good idea. This might help me figure out how to replicate that.
So is the rumor true? Is Elizabeth back in town?
Yes. And she seems better than ever. Well, her words, not mine. Mentally, anyways. The gremlins don't seem to have as much of an effect on her as they did before, and to be fair, there is a large portion of her memories that seem to be missing.
Well, that's pleasant to hear.
Yes, they all seem to be pretty unpleasant memories, so that's good, I suppose.
A strong woman like her shouldn't be plagued by her mind. Sad thing.
I believe I pick up what you're putting down. Grammatically, that threw me off for a moment. I thought you meant something else. But, anyways. I suppose I'll... What time of day is it? I'm assuming it's becoming, like, closer to the evening?
About late afternoon, yeah.
Alright, well, I guess I will, I feel like I'm obligated to tell you about something.
I feel like you are too. There seems to be a pattern every time you guys come back into town, so I was waiting for it.
Well, I don't know how much you've already heard about this, but there may be something going on at approximately the same time as it usually does.
No.
Same place.
Tonight or tomorrow? Or the next day? Usually you guys are all over the place with the number of days since you come into town.
This is the day after we had planned it, correct? So this would be tonight, or is
this is the day you planned it.
Okay, so it'd be for tomorrow night?
Yeah.
tomorrow night.
Well, I'll make time to be there.
Yes. Excellent. I will. You know what? Actually, I don't think I have anything else I need to do tonight. So perhaps I'll give this a shot. I don't know if I should ask you to come check on me or not. If I don't know what to expect from this.
If I don't see you tomorrow, I'll check in on you.
I appreciate it.
You're welcome. Have fun.
Yes. So I suppose we should meet up maybe an hour beforehand.
Yeah, that'll work for me.
Perfect. Meet up at I guess as the
Let's meet up at
proper-
that market you always meet up at.
Perfect. Suppose I will see you then.
All right. What about Niev and Gulran? What are they doing for the next day?
Well, so Niev wants to, she wants to do the shopping for the dinner party, but she also, while she's doing shopping, wants to maybe stop by the ministry and see if she can find like a ministry related place that she could get a necklace of talismans.
A necklace of talismans.
Lesser talismans, I should say.
Which talismans?
So I would like to get the healing power, the life's breath, and the freedom talismans.
Healing power, life's breath, and which one? Sorry.
Freedom.
Okay. Yeah, you can head to the ministry. Niev, what are you doing here?
Oh, I was looking for some equipment, some magical talismans to wear around my neck.
Have you been out doing spell research again?
No.
Oh, I thought I was going to be impressed with you. I guess I'm taking it back now.
Okay. That's okay.
How do you know about these things?
Well,
You haven't been doing your homework.
I suppose I should have said yes, that I have been doing some research. I've just recently been able to get a necklace to wear, and so I was looking at what sort of necklace I would want.
It's finally good to hear somebody putting those books to use. We've had those in the inventory for a while, and no one has bothered to look through them. Well, what are you looking for?
Well, I'm looking for hopefully some lesser talismans, one of freedom, because to be honest, if things start binding me, it's very hard for me to get out of that sort of thing. So I figured that might be something useful in certain situations, as well as a talisman of healing power, which would heal me back up if I go below half health, and life's breath, which would revive me should I die.
And you're not in any way bothered by the fact that these are tied directly to Delanrian in many ways?
I don't think so.
Okay, just making sure. Some people get really snippy when you tell them that a lot of these are made by Delanrian or followers of Delanrian or whatnot.
Oh, no. I just thought that they would... I mean, I feel like that it's okay. I mean, as long as they're useful.
Oh yes, they're very useful. They whisper a bit when they happen, though, so you'll have to get used to that. But that's a minor thing, you know. No big deal.
No big deal.
But yes, I think these are things I could do for you. I think I've got these actually on hand. We keep a bit of a supply here, of some things for specifically these means.
Excellent.
Are you going to take this out of your current running payout that you would be getting?
I don't think that's necessary. I think I should already have the funds to cover it.
Very well. And then we're looking at about 6,000 gold.
Okay. I have platinum and sapphire.
Okay.
I hope that's okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah, she will hand over 6,000 gold for these.
Mm-hmm. He will dig them out. He first of all digs out a sort of strange bone-crafted necklace, and then he starts going through a series of objects and plucks out a couple of these little statuettes. And each of them has this kind of bone look to them, with these kind of outstretched wings and a shield around the skull. Anything else?
No.
Anything else?
No. This will be wonderful. Thank you.
You're welcome. I've always been a little bit curious. You guys heard a little bit about your travels, and a lot of you don't seem to bother to come in here looking for stuff. You look on the outside. You know, we've got a lot of trinkets in here that sometimes we'd like to be able to pass out, but never really know exactly who's looking for them. Perhaps now that you guys are not looking for some base level stuff, you might want to come in here a little more often.
Oh, yes. I don't know why we haven't been, but I'll make sure the rest of them know as well.
Well, we often don't have a lot of the stuff that might be more mundane, you know, your weapons, your objects. It's more of this fringe stuff that we'll have. Otherwise, we usually source people out to specific places, but based on what you're looking for, I imagine your friends are probably interested in similar things, so it might be a good idea to let them know we do have some stuff here now that things are getting a bit more unusual or a bit more powerful.
Oh, absolutely. I will pass that on.
Thanks. We'd rather this kinds of sums of money not be getting outside of the building too much.
Well, that's understandable. Good to keep it all in-house if we can.
Exactly.
All right. Well, have a good rest of your day.
You too.
And then, yeah, on our way home, Nia would just be doing the shopping for the meal.
Okay. And Ghoulrun, what about you?
Besides
doing a lot of taxes.
I think Ghoulrun would want to try to check it with Ninoslav if he can, since our original mission was to bring Elizabeth back, but now we're kind of not answering to him, I guess. But I guess I'd want to debrief him on that final task he gave us and see if there's any official stuff we need to do with that.
Yeah, you can find him. He will invite you into the same room that you guys normally meet in. Well, it's good to see that some of you guys are... Oops, sorry. That was not whispered. It's good to see that some of you guys are willing to respect the fact that this was my operation originally.
Of course. We did bring Elizabeth back, but in the process, seems we got some sort of promotion of some sorts.
Promotion my ass.
Well...
Rion's been trying to take this case over for a long time.
So what does that mean for Elizabeth?
Well, she's your business now. If she's as off as things were, though, you're gonna want to keep her on a short leash.
She seems to have gained back most of her senses. She seems to be okay. We've just been running into an issue with shadows and stuff of this sort, and I'm kind of... Seems more arcane nature. It's out of my depth. I don't know if there's some sort of wizard we could speak to on the ministry payroll, or...
Shadows, you're sure?
Yeah, we had to defeat Elizabeth's shadow to make her regain her senses, and now we have talk of shadows stealing souls or doing all this crazy stuff. Have you heard anything about this?
I'm not sure if I'm the right to talk to you about certain things, but... Suppose if I keep it in now, it will probably bring you greater danger. We're aware of your circumstances, how do I put this? At least 3 of you are together because we planned it.
What does that mean?
He'll stand up and kind of from the desk and kind of walk over to you and put a hand on your shoulder. And as he does so, you'll feel another hand on your other shoulder, a familiar hand on your shoulder. You're a man of honor, dignity, but reckless at times. You do the right thing, though, when the right thing needs to happen. And you remind people their purpose when they need purpose. Think about it, Gulran. We shackled a man who has, well, his devotion may not be to order itself. He's devoted. And we shackled you to 3 people who lacked devotion. Well, initially we shackled you to somebody who we thought might be controlled by a lack of devotion at some point. But otherwise, you're where you're supposed to be. We know the things that you're facing to some degree. We're not unfamiliar with the fact that when we drafted Antaeus with you, that he was missing certain things. We were aware when we brought Ivy that she had a different sort of set of features. Brianna was a wild card, but one that fit. Someone to keep positivity. And thankfully, her change didn't change her personality too much, but it could have been much worse. Much, much worse. But you, Gulran, you're like the glue. Keeping it together. Remember to not stop being sticky. And remember, they're not just your team. They're your friends.
Of course.
It's going to happen, Gulran. The world wants you to separate. The world wants you to fight. Rian wants you to fight. He wants you to succeed but fail. And my harshness came from wanting you to succeed without failure.
What do you mean, How does he want us to fail?
Make mistakes. Get sloppy.
Hmm.
You were already kind of doing that. Bringing back people dead when they were supposed to be alive. Getting people into weird jams where they'd get lost. You're the perfect group to promote to enforcers. You're the type of people to do the job just right enough. But slip up on some little part.
Well, we try to do the best we can. Sometimes it can't be perfect.
Right, but the key is it's not by the book. You got into the problems that you were in because you weren't doing it by the book. If the mistakes happened and you were doing it by the book, much harder to overlook. But you're going off the book, which means that when you fuck up but the results are delivered, Rian can wash his hands of the mistakes he's made. Well, of the mistakes you've made, while still collecting all the benefit of the success. Are you understanding yet?
I guess. So, I mean, how can we fix this? Can we... I mean, he is the book. He tells us what needs to be done, and we do it, right?
What I can tell you is this. Don't worry about his goals for now. Focus on what matters. Focus on them. If you fail, you fail. If you succeed, you succeed. But I believe that those will both be one and the same. I think your real problem, Gulran, is that when the time comes, sometimes your group doesn't believe enough in the course of actions you're taking. You should fight more when you think you're right. As much as I hated it, you should fight more when you think you're right. You'll have the evidence you need.
All right. Well, Ninoslav, it's been a pleasure. I'm sure our paths will cross again.
I'd like to hope so, but I have some worries that I'm not much longer for this position.
Oh? Thinking of retiring?
No. I have a feeling I'm going to get moved. Restructuring, you know, how those things go.
Well, I'm sure we'll be able to keep in touch one way or the other.
Perhaps. Just know. Well, you may have failed. You have succeeded in the ways that I care about. Even if I couldn't agree to them at the times.
I appreciate it, and although you were harsh, I think you had our best interests at heart, and you helped prepare us for things to come.
I hope I have. Good luck out there. You know where your next mission is, right?
Actually, I don't think so. I think we're on kind of little R&R for now.
Well, it didn't come from me. But you're back in the woods.
Oh boy. Those bloody woods.
They want you to find the mother.
Thanks for the heads up.
Watch yourself out there. Remember, they're your friends, and your resolve is the most valuable thing you have.
Of course.
Take care of yourself, Gulran.
You too, Ninoslav. Give him kind of like the gladiator clasp thing.
Okay. He's a little bit confused by it, but he'll do it.
Ah. That's how men shake hands.
You make up the traditions you feel.
And strong women as well. Strong people shake hands like this.
He'll shake his head. I have other people I have to see, but it was good to
Yes.
speak with you.
Take care.
You too.
Oh wait, do you know when this next mission's coming along? Do you know how long we have before we're?
He'll summon you when he's planning on it. He's a bit of a last minute person, so he'll make all of his plans and then tell you to come by within a few hours.
All right. Well, hopefully we have at least a few days in town.
You should. He usually takes a lot of time to finalize his plans.
Excellent. Take care.
You too.
Go around. We'll leave here and go straight to the Lars Temple.
All right. Damn. Before we do that, then let's take a really short break.
Well, I'm not going there to fight. I'm going there to tell him that I want to fight and just schedule like a fight so he's.
That's
ready
fine.
for it as well. Yeah.
But I still want to take a short break. We'll be right back. All right. So you head over. I wish I could internet slap you for that one.
Yeah, don't watch Rise of the Rune Lords. He's constantly on Ulden, and it literally drives me insane.
Oh, he's part of the reason it's hard to watch Rise of the Rune Lords.
I got it. There we go.
Oh.
Is that internet slapping?
That's clapping.
Oh.
All right. So you head to the Temple of Lars. Let's change up some music here. This is too soft for some Lars music.
I'm hoping to, if they have like some sparring going on, I'm gonna try and engage the dude I was fighting to see if I can like.
The dude you were fighting died.
Oh, is he like dead? Oh.
Yeah, he suffered the full punishment.
I jumped in, defended you, took him down, and then they were trying to make me.
All right, I'm just gauging around the arena to see if there's like people around my level that I could challenge. If I can like walk in unnoticed, just checking things out.
Yeah. You can head in and start looking about, trying to gauge the people in the room. And why don't you go ahead and give me the relevant check to what you stated?
Oh God. Well.
You can you'll work to size people up, but a lot of guys here are built really big, and so it's a bit hard to tell. And they're all wearing like plate armor, or those that aren't are like able to move like in crazy nimble fashion. So it's really hard to identify like who's how strong.
Yeah, I guess if I can't really tell. I guess I'll try to find just like a cleric who's like wandering around the outskirts of like the viewers and try to like talk to someone.
Yeah, you are able to find at least somebody who looks like a cleric.
Greetings, fellow cleric.
The hell do you want?
That's not a very nice greeting, but
that's the greeting around here. What's your problem? You new here?
Kind of. I'm looking to get my document signed here, allowing a new patron to be established. I believe the rules are I need to fight someone in combat.
You want to get an audience with the person to do it? You do?
I'm just hoping a man of Lars would appropriately match me up to someone with a little my skill level. You know, it's not fair or a challenge if they're like hitting the 20th sphere of things, or you know, 9th sphere of things.
Trying to match your skill level. Some weak shit. You can't find somebody who's your own skill level. Maybe you're not doing a good enough job of it.
Well, I could take on the strongest of you if you let me use my full arsenal of spells, but I can't sanctuary. I can't hold person.
Nobody wants to see a fight where nobody's doing anything.
Oh, yeah, well, there would be stuff being done. I'd be winning. But y'all like your little rules of hand-to-hand combat, which is fine, but then I need
it's enjoyable. There's no fight in it if all you do is you make people unable to move. Where's the skill? Where's the talent? You just hit the lottery against their brain.
Well, it's not enjoyable if Mr. Ninth Sphere comes in knocking me out with a fucking chains of light or some shit. You know what I'm saying?
Now look here, okay? We're not gonna be sending... Nobody at that level is gonna be down here slumming it with people like you, okay?
All right.
Some nobody just comes waltzing in here.
Hey, ain't no so nobody. I'm Guron. A mighty Kraskron clan.
Didn't you get your ass handed to you a few days back?
No, that was the other Guron. There's so many of us.
A lot of one-name dwarves running around here with the same syllables, huh?
Yeah, exactly. Now you're catching on. Anyways, I'm in town for a few days, so I'm gonna get back in the ring and try it out. I wanted to give your people who is going to fight me ample time to prepare the appropriate spells. Thought it'd be an honorable thing to do. Instead of just showing up, well, maybe you always prepare combat spells, but I don't. So...
You need prep time.
Well, yes. Some days I'm prepared for healing and helping people, and some days I'm preparing for whooping some cleric ass.
I bet you prep for a lot of stuff that's ass-related, don't you?
I mean, I don't know if that was some sort of homophobic comment, but I don't shame people who do ass stuff. But no, I don't actually prepare for ass stuff.
Yeah, I bet you don't shame people who do it.
I don't. Swearing, on the other hand, that I'll shame you for.
Oh, you got a fucking problem with swearing, huh?
Yes, it's a slight trigger of mine.
Oh, maybe it's gonna fucking get you to do something you should fucking do yourself.
Yes.
You wanna fucking shut me up? Maybe you should fucking shut me up.
Yes, I will. Tomorrow.
Why you gotta wait till tomorrow?
I told you. Today I was prepared for helping people. I can't really help you with, or defeat you with those spells. I need my god's assistance to defeat those in combat.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm sure you give Lars praise to help you in combat.
Lars gives to me what he gives to me because I've earned it.
Yes, and my deity does the same. But I need to pray for those in advance.
I pick the spells I'll need to protect myself and those that deserve protecting every day. You should be doing the same. And you should always be ready to fight with whatever spells you have on you.
That's true, to some extent.
Now, why don't you take yourself and go back to whatever gnome you've got staying at home?
Gnome? What do you have against gnomes?
Frail, useless creatures. So short.
It's not very nice. Hey, what's
hit
wrong with short?
dime.
Well, is this guy human I'm talking to? Is he tall?
He is tall, but you can't quite peg his race because he's got a lot of armor on.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I'll be back tomorrow, and I hope you have a suitable challenger for me.
Yeah, we'll have a suitable challenger for you.
That will be a fair fight. I don't think Lars would be very proud of throwing your best fighter against a puny dwarf like me. Not very honorable.
You can avoid being stupid. You'll find a fair fight.
Well, all right. I guess that makes sense. Yeah, I would just like to close out the day by buying components and... Oh, yeah, I don't know. I don't know why I bother asking this, but what's your name, good sir?
Fuck off.
Another fuck off.
Mr. Fuck Off instead of Mr. Fuck You.
Yeah, just to let you know, the last guy who said that died, so, might want to...
Yeah, I believe it was right before you almost got your head cut off.
That's true. Still doesn't change the facts of what happened.
Oh, I thought that was the other ghoul run.
Ah, shit, you got me. Your battle of wits is matched only by your battle in the arena, I assume.
Maybe.
Well, flattery will probably get me nowhere with you guys, so I'll have to prove myself in the ring. But I have a small request if I do win. I would like to know about the history of Lars in your symbol. Is that suitable?
Look, you can best one of us. You'll have room for a lot of questions. As long as it's a good fight. You come out, you come in here, you just beat around some little bitch. That's not gonna do it.
I learned my lesson last time. I'm going to bring out the Kraskaran guns.
We'll see. Shit luck to you.
Good. Yes. All the best to you as well.
Yeah, break a leg.
I will not do that. And if I were, I could cure it.
I bet you could.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Fuck you and fuck off and fuck everything.
Fuck you died. I'm fuck off.
All right. Fuck off. I'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah, you can head on out.
All right. I'm just, I don't know if you want to, I think the only rare components are diamonds, so any other components can I just deduct gold and stock up on?
Yep.
Okay. I think I only have like tourmaline. I don't think there's
What are
any-
you looking for in terms of how many diamonds are you looking for?
Well, I don't think I need
Okay.
diamonds. I was just saying that's the only one that you care about if I were to have. Just double checking if any of these combat spells are
I think
fire.
the only other ones I could think of are like Sapphire and Ruby might matter as well if it's in a large denomination, in a larger denomination.
Don't think I have any of that. Ooh, eye ointment for true seeing, 250 GP each. Is this something that's rare or is this attainable?
It is not something that is rare.
Okay, so I will pick up some of those. Yeah, and you can go to someone else if you want. While I stock up on that. I think that's all Guran wanted to.
Right. Is Gulran letting anyone else know about what he's doing tomorrow?
Yes. Yeah, I would. I guess the dinner party's tomorrow night.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I would just meet up with them either in the morning before I go to the temple. Just let them know if anyone wants to watch or bail me out if I get in trouble again. But I'll be
Should
more
try and
prepared.
convert Elizabeth.
Yeah, I would just try to meet up with people and let them know that I'm risking my life tomorrow, casually. Oh my god.
How convenient, because I was also going to try to meet up with people tonight as well.
Okay. Well, real quick, let's cut to Ivy. It's pretty late by the time Zigmars gets back. Let me change up the music. Music back to this. So, you got something going on with your friends tomorrow night?
Not that I know of.
Oh, well, turns out you do if you are willing. I know if you're here, though, the way you've been feeling, maybe you're not up for it?
I don't even know if I'm welcome, to be honest.
Oh, come on now. They can't not invite you.
Have you ever been screamed at to get out of your friend's house?
Do you want my honest answer, or the one I like to tell
yeah.
people?
Probably shouldn't have asked you that. I'm sure I know the answer to that, but...
Yeah, I think it's a little different for me, though, because normally it's their parents yelling at me and not them, so...
Makes sense. Definitely makes sense there.
But here's the thing. I'm always invited. You're always invited. I would not bring you along. Who the hell else would I bring along?
I don't know. Rumors were you had a thing for Elizabeth before I came into town.
Yeah. I'm not saying I wouldn't take the opportunity if it presented itself. Maybe you'd be interested in finding out what she tastes like?
Well, seeing as I've never met her, I'll reserve judgment for now. Oh,
Fair.
I guess I've seen her. I don't know.
I guess you don't really strike me, though, as the person that seeing is believing.
No.
We'll see how it goes tomorrow.
Yeah, we'll see.
You got anything you're doing the rest of the day? Tomorrow?
Nope.
Anything you need to pick up?
I don't know. Not that I can think of at the moment.
I could have it picked up for you.
I wouldn't even know, to be honest.
Well, I've got an empty day if you got nothing to do.
Yeah, I don't have any plans right now. I thought I was gonna be with them, but I don't know how long this little break is gonna be.
Well, we'll see how things go tomorrow night.
Yeah.
All right. Gulran, I guess, Antaeus, you said you were doing your stuff in the evening, right?
Yeah, I was gonna find people and let them know what was going on.
So are you going to everybody's door or just to certain people's?
I suppose I would go to everybody's door. Yeah, I wouldn't.
And do you stop at home before this, or?
I mean, I'd probably stop at home at least for a minute because we all live near each other anyways.
Mhm.
So I'd probably stop at home real quick just to, you know, unload for a minute. You know, just get myself together for a minute and then head
Drop
out.
off
And
your
just,
drugs.
no, that's gonna stay on me. I can't trust it leaving that there. But yeah, I'll just like stop by, like kind of like let my stuff down, and because I haven't really like had a chance to like breathe for a minute since we've been back, so just gonna drop some of my basic stuff off, then clean up a little bit, and then head over, kind of let everybody know what's going on tonight.
So you get back to your place. It is a bit of a mess when you arrive. There are a few things like moved out of place, a couple of things on the floor. Well, you are here.
Oh,
You
well,
can see a very short halfling figure step out. A figure you recognize, but a figure you wouldn't expect to find in a situation like this.
hello.
See if you can guess it correctly first.
What does this person look like other than halfling?
I was trying to think of what short halflings have you come across.
He's a halfling. He has previously helped you guys out with some information. I am.
Was Tirana halfling?
He was indeed a halfling. I believe that's.
That was the only person I could think of that it might be, but for some reason I was thinking Tyran was not a halfling. I thought he was like human or something.
I think I defaulted to human as well.
Yeah, maybe we just didn't get a clear race, and I just always just imagined and thought human.
Very annoyed that I can't find his notes.
I think
this happens.
I think I had definitely imagined him being like one of those old school PIs that like has the hat and like the trench coat and one of those guys.
He does typically have like a long coat, but he doesn't wear like the hat, and he doesn't like smoke a pipe. He's usually pretty well dressed, but his hair is a little bit of a mess from time to time. But as you come in and he sees you, he kind of leans up against the doorway between your kitchen and your living area.
Now, the stuff in the rooms, does it look like it's been looked through, or does it look like it's been like just scattered about? Like
it looks like it's been looked through.
So it's deliberate. It's not like he's just frantically going through everything.
Yeah.
You looking for something?
You could say that. You're making me a little bit uncomfortable.
Excuse me?
I found some things when I was looking for the stuff you asked me for.
Yes.
What are you? Did you know you don't exist?
That much I did not know. Well, in light of new information that may or may not be reliable, I'm gonna need you to define exist.
You don't have pictures of parents. You don't have pictures of any family. You don't have a home. You just sort of started well, yes, but that you don't have like a place that you hail from.
Yes, I suppose I shouldn't be deliberately antagonizing you.
You're like something that one of your kind would have just put together by spilling a bunch of ingredients together.
Alchemist, okay. I was wondering what you meant by that comment, but yes. It actually makes sense, sort of.
And the more I found out about Ivy, the more concerned I got. And the way that you suddenly replace Brianna? What are you planning?
To be fair, the replacing Brianna was not something we were aware of. It was something that had to do with the magics that were in the book, or the
Don't
talismans.
pretend I didn't have you looked at. What are you planning? I know your type. You mastermind all sorts of things. What are you planning?
You're gonna have to be more specific.
I had you checked. You stink like a devil.
I've been told that before, unfortunately. By the guy, the hermit, the disconcerting guy that gave me the dagger.
The guy who seemed all too excited to hand you things.
Yes. That one.
Didn't seem out of place to you, just seemed kind of normal.
Him? No, not at all.
Oh, you just went along with it, accepting strange weapons from strange people?
I wasn't as affluent as I am now. Things were much harder back then.
Come forward with it already. You don't have to play the ruse, I just want to know what your game is. And I want to know how I find her.
Excuse me?
Where did you banish her to?
Banish who to? Miev?
Brianna!
Sorry, I didn't do that. Well, I didn't intentionally do that. I
You
wasn't
sent
aware.
me on a wild goose chase shortly after it to find a person whose family doesn't exist anymore. And then I find out your family doesn't exist either. You don't think that seems suspicious? You just think, oh, this stupid investigator that doesn't know magic, he won't be able to figure anything out.
I hardly think that you're stupid. But I did not know that her family didn't exist at the time that I sent you out or asked you to go out. I might have answers to things that you're asking about, but I don't know the questions that you're asking. I'm not trying to hide things from
What
you.
did you do to Brianna?
What happened to Brianna was that I used this item in the book. I don't remember if I told him about the book, but and it brought her back to life. But apparently it switched her with someone else.
That
Yeah.
doesn't make sense.
Agreed.
Why don't you try a story that makes more sense? Stop
Because
bullshitting me. Give me something that makes sense. The truth, maybe. What about this? Yes, it's a book.
No, the share memory thing. If you want, I can show you the memory.
People can change memories. I can't even take a chance that those aren't the gloves that change my memory.
Then nothing I say is going to make you believe me, then, is it? If you're not going to believe the memories that I share with you, then you're not going to believe the words that I'm going to tell you. You already have an idea of what happened or what you want to believe, and it doesn't sound like you're willing to listen to what I have to say. I have no problem trying to help you out fill in the blanks, but I don't know what questions you are asking.
Where is she?
Mirashad.
The hell is Mirashad? How
The
do you know
school
that?
Ryan?
Well, I asked her. She told me she was from Mirashad.
How did you ask her?
Well, I asked Niev, I suppose, when she was in Brianna's body, when she came back to life, or transferred here, or however that works.
Then how do you know she's okay? How do you know anything? I want some proof. I'm talking to a person that is basically less than a ghost, who asked me to go search for something that's just slightly more than a ghost.
I've communicated with her, sort of. Well, I've sent a message to her, and I know that she has received it. I haven't spoken to her, but I'm aware that the magic has worked as intended, and it was intended to be delivered to her. How much do you know about what's going on with Sierra Savant? The protections.
How would who know about the protections?
You know about them then, yes? I'm assuming it's pretty common knowledge, right? How much do you know about how they work?
No one can get in or out. There are no outsiders that come here. What's your game? How could you communicate? Communication is limited.
Dream magic.
What?
I suppose I don't know if it's fair to say that it works like extraplanar travel. Not necessarily. Maybe. It might be a way to equate it. Regardless, it gets around the barriers. So if I send her a message in a dream, she will receive it in a dream.
Do you have a way to prove this? Without...
I could send you a message tonight if you'd like. Well, maybe not tonight, but I can send you a message in a dream if you'd like.
That doesn't prove that you've spoken with or sent a message to Brianna.
What proof do you want? She's on another country. I can't necessarily speak to her directly. I don't know what you're asking me to provide you with.
Well, I can't find anything here. I can't find anything else. It's going to take me a couple of weeks to do what I'm going to do. Perhaps by the time I get back here, you'll have some proof. Because otherwise, things that don't exist don't count as dead.
I don't understand why you're threatening me. I'm trying to help you here.
Because you took something from me, and I am tired of people taking things from me. My cases, the people I care about.
Speaking of cases, how's that case that I gave you the information of about yourself, about your family? How's that going for you? Or did you forget that I'm here to help you just as much as
you're here to
helping
move
me?
Pieces? All of a sudden, you take over, and there's administration change heavily within the ministry. The person
right. I have a lot of control over that. I'm high ranking. I have the ability to make those kind of changes. I don't know what you want to hear from me. If I do, it would be wonderful to know because it would make things a lot easier. I want to help you. You have been invaluable. You are a good person.
Find a way to find me facts, and we can talk.
What kind of facts do you want? I don't know what you're looking for.
I want proof that you didn't do something terrible, and I don't want proof that you create.
Would you like Goran to tell you the situation, how it happened, or perhaps Elizabeth, since she's back in town?
Telling me is nothing if they're people you travel with regularly and tell your tales to.
Moirin, he was there. You could ask Niev herself. I don't know what you're asking of me. You're asking me to give you something vague that I don't have parameters to fill in. look, I understand that her not being here, her being alive is better than her being dead. And I'm not saying that I wished for her to switch bodies with this Nia person, but at the time, we didn't have a whole lot of options to bring her back. We did what we thought we could, but she's alive, at least as far as I know. Last time I talked to her was sometime like maybe a week ago-ish, a few days ago, or messaged her anyways.
I don't know why I expected anything else from you.
It sounds like you're looking for more than I suppose I can provide you with. I don't know how to help you. I don't know what else I can do if you won't let me share these memories with you, if you won't take me at my word. I don't know what you want.
You know what I want, but you can't provide it.
I'm doing my best to try to get her back. Niev doesn't want to be here as much as Brianna doesn't want to be there, I'm sure.
A lot of fucking good you're doing at it. And he'll start trying to walk past you.
Would you rather I left her dead?
At least then, it'd be a hell of a lot easier to identify the truth. Good night, Antaeus.
I'm assuming he walks out the front door or wherever.
Yeah, he walks out the front door.
That man is going to become a problem to himself, if nobody else. I'm gonna just kind of like mutter to myself about he's obviously something else is going on with him and he's spiraling out of control, and I'm gonna just kind of fix things up that he's messed up and put them back into place.
Yep.
And then try to recollect myself before I go talk to the rest of the people.
Yep. Who do you visit first?
Who's closest?
Ivy is technically closest to you.
Why not? I'll go visit Ivy first.
Okay. There's no answer.
That's unfortunate. I'm assuming that there's windows to the house and stuff, right? No light or anything on there?
No light or anything inside.
I'll jot down a quick message. Just let her know that I was looking to speak with her.
Okay.
And then I'll just slide it underneath the door, or try to.
Yep, you can.
And then make my way to the other two.
Yep. Ghoul Run is next in line.
Well, I guess, do I know where Elizabeth is? Oh, she's going to her parents tonight, isn't she?
Yep.
I probably shouldn't bother her when she's doing that. Then I'll go to Ghoul Run first, and then Yev.
Ghoul Run, there's a knock at your door. Just a little after you get back in.
I'll go answer the door. Hello?
Hello. Hello, Ghoul Run.
Yes. What are you doing here?
I just wanted to let you know. Well, actually, I've got a couple of things to let you know at this point.
Oh, me too.
Excellent. I will kind of like look inside for a second, then like look around. And mind if I step in for a moment then?
Oh yes, of course. I'll open the door wider and let him in.
I'll step in and close the door. Well, I was coming on my way to let you know about something else, but I was visited by her detective friend.
You were trading out any ministry secrets again, were you?
No, he was in search for information about Brianna. And
Brianna?
Yes. Seems like this affected him a lot more than I expected it to. And he couldn't find anything about Ivy, which he'd been looking for, at my behest. But apparently he'd also been looking into me and wasn't so much successful there either, so... Anyways...
What are you saying? You had Ivy looked into?
Well, to try to find information about her family in order to help her. I couldn't find anything in the ministry, and I thought that he would have better resources than I would, other than just the ministry files that we have.
So why did he start looking into you?
I'm not surprised. I mean, that is what he does. But he started looking into me and was upset when he couldn't find information about me and thought I had something to do with, well, I mean, something more nefarious planned with Brianna, perhaps, with her not existing. He doesn't believe that she's still alive. He wouldn't listen to what I had to say. He wouldn't accept sharing the memory with him because he said that it could be tainted, which I understand, but...
She's definitely, well, at least she was alive those weeks ago when the mistress conveyed it, unless she lied to me. She said she conveyed my message to her. I guess she could have been conveying it to the afterlife. I don't... This tricky.
Fair point. I can't imagine she would be deceiving you like that, but I don't know much about her, so I could be wrong.
I don't either. She likes to do some weird-ass shit. That's all I know.
Yes, she's very interesting. Very interesting deity indeed.
Well, hold on. Why do you think he couldn't find anything about you? Is it something about your past you're not telling us?
Well, no, I've told you pretty much everything that there is to tell about my past.
Well, I imagine he'd run into dead ends trying to look into my past, too, so there's no judgment there.
Yes, this whole shadow business, it seems like he knows that without knowing that. Well, maybe not the whole shadow part, but the reason that I don't have a past, anyways. But that would explain that at least. I wasn't able to find anything. But I just figured I would let you know. I came home and things were a little disheveled and as if he was looking through things in my house, so it appears he's back in town.
Thanks for the heads up. Maybe we should all talk to him, see what's going on.
Perhaps.
Well, that's if I'm still alive tomorrow.
Oh. Well, that also brings me as to why I'm here. Wait, what do you have planned where you might be dead? I don't want to die, but...
Decided to go back to that Lars challenge.
Oh.
I'm as strong as I ever could be. It's time I fight these people and show them what Kruzkran's worth.
For glory or something more?
No, for furthering my ethos. It's a requirement, unfortunately, for me to get an audience with someone who can help get me a signature from them.
Ah, yes, that. Okay, perfect.
Also, it's a bit of a two birds with one stone, as they say, since the Landrian clerics were under the impression I was not able to prove I would die for my god, so perhaps this will, if I succeed, prove that.
Hopefully it just proves that you're willing to and not that you do.
Yes, I would prefer I don't, but last time I was trying to be clever and trying to avoid fighting, but this time I'm going to rely on Kruzkran's specific spells to aid me in combat. And I'm not one of a combatant, but with 2 or 3 spells at my side, I feel like I can give him I can put up a fair fight.
That's true. And it's not as if you haven't seen your fair share of fights in your day.
Yes.
But, well, hopefully things will go well. You said that's in the morning?
I told them it was tomorrow, so it could, I guess, whenever I go, but I was planning on just letting everyone else know in the morning and heading there once I do some communing with Kruzkran.
Fair enough. If you want us to go along, I suppose I could.
I mean, it'd be nice if my friends were cheering me on.
Of course. I didn't know if it was one of those things that you felt you needed to do yourself, or if it was something. Well,
Yes,
I mean,
well,
you
this
know what I mean.
this time I will regrettably require that no one aid me should I fall. I'm gonna try and I assume that would satisfy the Delandrian clerics if I had no intention of being aided. If I
Now,
always have someone to fall back on, it's not really proving I'm ready to die with Krauskron only aiding me. I think.
now, last time we were there, when the deceased, well, when they died, their body went to the Temple of Krauskron, correct? Or not
What?
Krauskron, I apologize. The Temple of Lars. It became a property of the Temple of Lars, yes?
I don't know, I was knocked out.
Oh,
But I assume from what Ivy told me, she had to kill the other man to satisfy their bloodlust. I will try to spare the men I defeat, but I have a feeling they will force my hand, but I will at least try.
am I misremembering that, Steve, or is that?
No, it's theirs.
Or should I... Okay, so if there's no other plans, it defaults to being the Temple of Lars's.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I suppose that you should probably get your affairs legally in order in the event that you should die tomorrow.
Perhaps your knowledge law can tell me how I do that. Can I simply just write a parchment of my last will and testament? Oh, shit.
Yeah, you guys can sort of arrange an on-death agreement.
Yes, that way you don't become
Yes.
a property of the Lars Temple.
Tomorrow
I hate
morning,
that.
let's draft. Perhaps you can draft me something. I would prefer my body be buried in a mountain or something in tribute to Krauskron.
Yes,
Perhaps somewhere you could visit me, if you guys still care.
of course, of course.
But I don't plan on falling. With Krauskron by my side, I think I
Well-
can defeat these clerics of Lars.
My thinking that is legally, if something were to happen and say you did fall and you and your belongings became property of the group or one of us or something of that nature, then we would be able to get you resurrected, as opposed to them doing whatever nefarious things they have planned.
Oh, sure.
Worst case
I don't want to
scenario,
go
of
into
course.
this thinking that I have some sort of lifeline. I'd prefer that Krauskron be my aid, and I not rely on these things. But I'm not going to stop you from doing what you want once I'm in the other world. But
Well, the thing is that if you don't have it prepared legally, then you and your belongings become a property of the church.
yeah, I don't want
And-
that to happen, especially not Elias. So
Exactly.
we'll prepare it in the morning. Now I need my
Yes,
rest.
yes. And then we could always
Yeah.
speak with you if something were to happen. We could speak with you and see if you wanted to come back.
Yes.
The typical thing. But speaking of the morning, well, it sounds like you have a night that you probably need a lot of rest for. Well, I think I should let you know. I spoke to Zigmars earlier today, and he gave me something that we had talked about briefly about working on. Seems like a prototype of something bigger that I had been imagining. This,
It's smaller. Oh yeah, you've got it in the vial.
yeah,
What is it?
some kind of drug of some kind that he's been working on.
What does it do?
This functions the way that I like what I can imagine it's functioning like, right? The one that we had talked about.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I just didn't want to say the wrong thing. This will ideally bring me closer to knowledge, presumably something maybe more forbidden. I don't know, something more difficult to obtain, at least.
Well, I
don't know the
hope it's
exact
not going to put you in a state like it did last time. And Teos, you can't fool around with these things with yourself. It's dangerous.
Well, I'm sure that it will for probably most of the night, at least.
Oh my
I
god.
should be fine in the morning. I told Zigmars to make sure that I'm okay tomorrow before everything.
Oh god. Okay. Well, let's think about this later. Let's deal with my death-defying feat, and then we'll worry about yours.
Oh, I was planning on taking this tonight.
Tonight? What if something happens? I'm not prepared for these things.
Well, that's why I wanted to come over here and let you know what was going on, because if I did that, then at least you would know what was happening.
Can you just do it tomorrow night after the dinner party?
I mean, I suppose I could. I mean, it's also one of those things where...
I really need to rest tonight, Antaeus. I can't stay up late watching over you if something happens.
Well, I wasn't intending for you to have to watch over me, but it's also one of those things where it sounded like there's a radius, and if... I believe he said something to the effect that if there are people within a certain radius, then they would be subjected to it as well. Something to that effect.
What is this for? What do you think you're going to gain from this?
Knowledge. The pursuit of knowledge. The never-ending pursuit of knowledge. More information, hopefully, on Ivy and whatever's going on with her. And, if there's time, there's other things that I'd like to know.
All right, well, let's talk about this as a group tomorrow before you risk your life again and have to drop more money to bring you back.
I don't imagine there being a chance of death, but it's possible given that I have no idea what to expect. But the drug itself shouldn't cause any kind of death. So at least there's that.
Well,
but I suppose waiting till tomorrow is a good idea, though.
Yes, for the love
party.
of Kraskaran, please.
Oh, also, he has to borrow that dagger. That dagger.
I mean, it's your dagger. What do you want?
I just figured I'd let you know where it's at. I mean, I'm sure that he's doing something beneficial with it, or at least... Well... But I just figured I would let you know that we don't have that in case we need to use that anymore. Not that you would want to anyways.
I'm using that again.
Yes, I understand. Well, I suppose I'll go. Oh, also, I tried to go to Ivy's house and she isn't there, so I don't know if that matters or not. I left a note for her, but...
Well, we'll try and find her in the morning. We'd like her to attend my amazing combat. But she might be still upset with us and needing some cool down time, but we'll have to get in touch with her tomorrow.
Yes, I suppose I'll go by Niev's house and let her know what's going on. I'd like to let Elizabeth know as well, but I don't want to bother her at her parents' house.
Yes, best we save her for tomorrow as well.
Indeed. I suppose I'll let you get your sleep then.
Good luck.
See you in the morning. You too.
Don't take that drug tonight.
I won't take it tonight.
Oh yeah.
I'll put it back in the super safe bag, and then I'll head over to Niev's.
Niev, there is a knock at the door.
I need to be right back. A minute.
Yeah.
All right.
I will answer the door.
Hello.
Oh, hello, Antaeus. Come in.
Oh, yes. Thank you. I'll step inside. Well, I guess I could just tell you this tomorrow at this point, but anyways, in the morning, at some point, Gulran wants to get together and discuss what he's going to be doing, going back to the Temple of Lars.
What? He's going back to the Temple of Lars? Is he crazy?
Well, yes, but I don't know if it's because of that. It seems like he wants to finish his mission with getting in Kraskaran's favor and proving to the Temple of Lars that their signature is worth something for him. Something of that nature, it seems like. Also, you haven't seen Tehran, have you?
He's that guy that Brianna went out with?
Yes.
Came to one of my dinner parties?
Yes, I forgot you did meet him. The investigator.
I haven't really seen him in a while. Wasn't he doing something for you or something?
He was looking into Ivy. Didn't turn up a whole lot. And then he turned up to my house and let me know that he couldn't find much on me either and seemed pretty upset about the whole thing.
Well, I mean, just because he doesn't find anything, I mean, nobody would find anything about Niev the Druid.
Fair. At least not here.
Yeah.
He seems to be spiraling I think the whole thing with Brianna has left him a little unraveled, and I'm certain that he blames me for it, but he just doesn't know. He needs to find. It seems like he's trying to find a reason why to blame me for it.
I can understand the inclination, but it's not like any of you did that on purpose. Brianna didn't want to die, and this was an experimental way that perhaps someone could be brought back.
Yes, I tried to let him know that, and I offered to share the memory. I offered to share the memory of me trying to speak to her. I let him know what information I could, and he didn't seem satisfied with it. So, he seemed very vengeful. Well, vengeful. Maybe not very vengeful. But
so what exactly does he want? It's not like, I mean, I'm not... What, does he want you to kill me and then put the necklace around me and then Brianna come back? I mean, you might get stabby McStabby.
That is something I had not considered, and I do not want that. No.
Good, I don't want it either.
Yes. That's... but yes, I just figured I would let you know that he seems to be back in town, and in case something were to happen, or if you wanted to speak to him, or if he came questioning you, at least you're prepared. But...
Yeah, I mean, if it'll put his mind at ease. I mean, believe me, if I knew how to get to Brianna or Mirashad or Phoenicia, I would do it. But it's not like we exactly have a way to get around the barrier.
Exactly. I haven't told him how I did it, and he didn't seem satisfied with that. But perhaps it's just something he's not familiar with. I find it hard to believe, but I don't know.
Deus knows how to get around the barrier.
I know he does. That's exactly why I said what I said. Because Kandor told Antaeus how to. But I don't know that in character, so.
Oh, yes. That is a good point, voices in my head. I did forget about that. It seems like it's been a week or so since I've been stuck in that shadow form. Yes, I forgot to mention this to Goron, but did I mention to you that speaking of the barrier, there's another way to get...
Another way? What?
A more adventurous, long journey to the center of the earth type way. There's a way to physically get there underneath Sierra Savant.
Really?
Or I'm led to believe by the person that claimed me as his shadow in that time when everybody else around him seems to be frozen in time. If that's a thing, how I don't...
Wow. I imagine such a journey would not be easy.
No, in no way, shape, or form would that be easy. Wonder if that's a memory I could share. Tonight's probably not the night to do that. I probably should get some rest, and so should you. Go around once it's there tomorrow to help cheer him on.
Certainly. Hope he's up to it. I don't expect... Has anyone talked to Goron? Maybe he could convince Elizabeth to worship Kraz-Karan, and she could fight on Kraz-Karan's behalf.
I admire that, but I think that Elizabeth is, I don't know. Maybe she would be interested in that. I'm not sure. But I suppose we could just ask her when we see her next.
Yeah.
Don't imagine she's going anywhere at the moment.
Well, I'll certainly be there for Goron, and if Tehran comes to me, and I don't have a way to share memories myself, but I can tell him everything I know, which is, the same thing.
I forgot about that minor detail before, but I offered to have him speak to you guys or share your memories using the device, but he seemed unwilling to accept that because the memories could be modified, and I understand that, but I don't understand why he's so apprehensive against believing me or us or Well, I do, I guess, understand why, but
Some people just want to believe what they want to believe, and regardless of facts.
yes, I think that he probably is more affected by this than perhaps he thought that he would be at first. In some
Yes,
ways, I feel for him.
it felt like that his relationship with Brianna was casual. It's very odd that he would be so distraught.
Agreed. I didn't think there was much more to it other than them enjoying each other's company, but perhaps there was. Perhaps he has a good poker face. Well, had, anyways.
Well, I don't feel as apprehensive talking to him anymore. I felt a little bit uneasy the last time that he was here because I looked like Brianna, but I wasn't. Now, at least I look like myself, and at least he won't see Brianna when he looks at me.
Yes, I would hate for that to trigger something and have him do something untoward. That would be very unfortunate, considering very concerned about this. I don't know. Hopefully he'll be okay.
Well, try to get some rest. It's too bad that Brianna can't talk back with us, because perhaps she could tell him something to bring him some peace, or something that you could say to him to bring some peace.
Yes, I believe I mentioned to her that he missed her, but I don't believe she has the capabilities of doing that. And to be fair, it is something I'm surprised still that I am capable of doing. It seems nigh impossible, but regardless. Yes, tomorrow should be a very eventful day for Gulran and all of us, actually, which brings me to the reason I initially was coming here. So I spoke to Zigmars earlier, and he gave me a prototype, let's say, of something that I've been asking him to work on. Pull out the small vial and kind of move it around a little bit. It shouldn't be harmful, but I have no idea what to expect. But it should give us access to, ideally, a plethora of knowledge that we wouldn't otherwise have. Open our minds in some way, so to speak. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, do we just each take a little bit of it? How does it work?
From my understanding, I believe that if someone takes it in a certain vicinity of other people, they'll be dragged into it in some way, shape, or form. I'm not sure how far or wide reaching that is, but I figured I should at least mention it to you guys before I decided to do this. Said it would last probably the night, so I'm guessing somewhere between like 8 to 10 hours ish. But Gulran made a good point, and perhaps tomorrow after the dinner party would be a better time to do this than tonight before tomorrow happens and essentially ruin whatever plans for tomorrow.
Yeah. Well, that's probably good. I mean, if we don't know what side effects it might have, then at least we can get this fight behind us with the Lars.
It's true. Oh, yes, also, if I forget, remind me in the morning that we need to sort out the legality of Gulran and his possessions should he die there, so that way he doesn't become property of the Church of Lars. There's a possibility that I might forget about this.
Oh.
I've been a little forgetful lately, and I don't want to overlook that important detail.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I will make sure and remind you guys.
Thank you. Well, I guess I will see you tomorrow, and if you guys, yeah, I guess I'll let you think about it for a little while, but if you want to go with me on this, then at least you know that you're more than welcome. All of you are. I didn't want to, I don't know. It's been a long week.
It has. Yeah, honestly, who knows? I feel like that knowledge is something that should be shared. Well, I mean, that's what they told us at the university. Knowledge should be shared with everybody.
Yes, my one concern though is that this might draw some attention from Thoth, given that I don't know what kind of knowledge to fully expect, or how forbidden this knowledge is, or much of anything outside of that there is knowledge to be had. So, there's that.
Well, I feel like Thoth is coming for us either way, so.
Yes. Yes, he is. But I figured I would offer you guys the opportunity to go with if there was things that you needed to know. If not, I was just gonna go there and, I don't know. I have no idea, actually.
Well, let's see what tomorrow brings, and we can cross that bridge when we get to it.
Good point. I suppose I will see you in the morning.
Oh, do you want me to prepare some lesser restoration, help you with some of that strength damage?
Oh, that would be wonderful.
Okay.
That would be absolutely wonderful. Thank you.
I'll make sure and do that.
I'm so fatigued I hadn't even thought about that.
You look pretty tired.
Oh, yes, absolutely. But I suppose I will see you. He didn't give me a time, but sometime in the morning he'll probably come round us all up. Hopefully, Elizabeth. Oh.
I'll make breakfast. You should have a good last meal.
Hopefully, Elizabeth will be back, and perhaps Ivy will be home at that point, if he intends to speak with her as well. She deserves to at least know, even if she doesn't want anything to do with us at the moment.
I'm angry at her, but it's not like I don't want to be around her. I assume you told Zigmars about the dinner party?
Yes, I did. I mean, I am under some obligation at least to let him know about those sorts of things. Verbal obligation. Actually, no, it might be in a contract I signed now that I think about it.
Well, that's okay. I mean, I always know to prepare a little extra, so.
I'll bring a little something extra for Hunter. He's been through a lot the last couple of weeks.
He'll appreciate it.
Get him the good stuff this time. Suppose I'll see you tomorrow.
All right, see you tomorrow.
And I suppose we'll see all of you next week. Good night, everyone.